At a time of year when the temperature here in Philadelphia is typically in the mid-40s, we come to you on a 64-degree day as the New England Patriots take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Dierdorf from Philadelphia in our doubleheader game. Tom Brady quarterbacking the New England Patriots, who come into this game at 7-3, and there is Vince Young, the starting quarterback today for the 4-6 Philadelphia Eagles. There is Andy Reid, the head coach in his 13th season, three-time NFL Coach of the Year, and his opposite number on the far side, Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots. The Philadelphia Eagles have won the toss, and they will receive. Dion Lewis is deep for the upcoming kick from Stephen Gostkowski, and here we go. Lewis will run this one out of the end zone to about the 16-yard line, where he is brought down. And let's get a quick update from JB and Shannon in New York. Guys,
Cleveland last attempt to try to go ahead of Cincy, Shan.
Yes, JB, you're going to see Joshua Cribbs tries to run it out, batted down by Kelly Jennings, and the Bengals hold on 23-20 over the Browns.
Improved to 7-4. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, guys, thank you. The Philadelphia Eagles, first possession from their own 16-yard line. And Young will throw on first down, has all kinds of time, and has his man over the middle. That is Brent Selleck, the tight end. Welcome to those of you just joining us here in Philadelphia on the first play from scrimmage. Vince Young with a completion to his tight end, Brent Selleck, for a first down all the way out to the 38-yard line.
And you were right, Greg. Vince Young was in the rocking chair back in that pocket. Tremendous job by his offensive line. Nobody near him.
One play, 122-yard pickup and a first down. Short drop this time. The slant is incomplete. Vince Young is the quarterback because Michael Vick's ribs still a problem. He threw a bit this week, but is not in uniform today. Young makes his second straight start at quarterback. He threw for 258 yards and 2 touchdowns in last week's win over the New York Giants.
Well, it was really a tale of two halves. He looked awfully rusty in the first half, but the longer the game went on, the better Vince became. And then, of course, that final 80-yard drive to win the game was a piece of beauty.
On 2nd and 10, Young, deeper drop. Has time, gonna go deep down the middle of the field. It is caught inside the 10-yard line by Riley Cooper.
Well, I dare say the Patriots didn't see that coming.
Those of you just joining us here in Philadelphia, a guy named Riley Cooper with the long-range catch, 58 yards, has set up the Eagles inside the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. First running play of the day, LaShawn McCoy for a couple. Here's a take another look at this bomb from Vince Young.
Well, Vince Young has thrown the ball a couple times on this opening drive, but this thing went, it looked like 60 yards in the air right onto the palms of Riley Cooper, who's starting today because Jeremy Maclin is missing his 3rd game with that shoulder injury. And that is a thing of beauty by both of them. And what a perfect throw by Vince Young.
2nd and goal from the 2. McCoy. No signal yet from the official. Now a touchdown. LaShawn McCoy with his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, his 13th overall.
Well, this drive has mainly been through the air, but here's a little power football off the left guard. Evan Mathis, Jason Peters, and LaShawn McCoy into the end zone. A scoring play. This will be automatically looked at upstairs, but looked like he was there easily.
Alex Henry for the extra point, and it is good. 5 plays, 84 quick yards in just over 2 minutes, and a quick 7-0 Philadelphia lead. Philadelphia goes 84 yards in 5 plays and gets on the board in a hurry for a quick 7-0 lead. And deep to receive the kick for the Patriots is Danny Woodhead. Woodhead, 5 yards deep in the end zone, will run it up. And knocked down at about the 17.5-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. Or rather, this play that set up the touchdown.
Yeah, exactly right, Greg. There's Riley Cooper at the top, and he knows he's got single coverage against Kyle Arrington. And again, Cooper, who came in today with a grand total of 12 receptions in his 2-year NFL career, the recipient of an absolutely a piece of perfection from Vince Young.
Of those receptions, he had 5 last week alone. Line of scrimmage is the 18-yard line. Brady going to throw on first down, little screen to the far side. This is Gronkowski, the tight end. Whistled down at about the 23-yard line, and Tom Brady on pace for 5,200 passing yards this season and 40 touchdown passes. With 1 win, he ties John Unitas for number 6 all-time in career wins. Gain of 6 on the play, 2nd and 4. This is Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis, and he explodes to the 29 for a first down. Injuries have taken their toll on the Patriots' offensive line. They're down to their 3rd center, Ryan Wendell, in his 3rd season out of Fresno State. And the backs and the receivers, and who isn't talking about the 2nd-year tight end, Rob Gronkowski, who has caught 10 of Tom Brady's 25 touchdown passes. And Dan, he's big.
He is big. When he walks into a room, your eyes kind of pop a little bit.
On first down, Brady under pressure, got rid of it, and throws it complete.
And under pressure, Tom got planted.
Take a look at the Philadelphia 4-3 defense. Defensive end Jason Babin has 10 of the 29 sacks registered by the Philadelphia defense. Middle linebacker Jamar Chaney in just his 2nd NFL season out of Mississippi State. The Eagles' leading tackler Nnamdi Asomugha, question mark up until about an hour to an hour and a half ago, came out and worked out that knee which he hyperextended in practice on Thanksgiving Day. Good enough for him to go today.
It was Cullen Jenkins in Tom Brady's face that last play.
On 2nd down, this is Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis weaves his way across the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
Yeah, this was the previous play. Right there, it looks like Tom's got a good pocket, but this is a very, very talented front 4 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Cole and Babin, tremendous pressure on the outside, but there's not a more active defensive tackle in football than Cullen Jenkins.
3rd and 2.
65. What? Roger, hot left.
Brady throws it. Incomplete, close to being intercepted by the middle linebacker Jamar Chaney.
And when you say close to being intercepted, the ball looked like it bounced off Chaney. A good look at it from behind here. Tom Brady working the left side of the field the whole way. And you really see that he's expecting his receiver to just slide a little bit to the left. And man, is that an awkward hit on Tom Brady.
Deshaun Jackson.
Boy, he got a high-low shot.
Explosive punt returner. Is back. Fair catch called for and made at the 20-yard line. 10 minutes, 36 seconds to play in the first quarter. Eagles take their 2nd crack on offense after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Droid Razor by Motorola. Droid strong, razor sharp. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
We welcome you back to Philadelphia. Coming up on 10.5 minutes to play in the first quarter, the Eagles with a 5-play, 84-yard drive and a 7-0 lead.
To say they surprised New England with Vince Young throwing the ball that effectively down the field would be a real understatement.
Young, play faking, gonna go deep down the middle again, and he's got a man in the middle of the field, caught inside the 40-yard line by Deshaun Jackson.
Well, the New England Patriots have been ravaged in their secondary with injuries, and it's pretty apparent that Marty Mornhinweg and Andy Reid are going after it right from the start. Look at Vince Young go right down the middle of the field, no safety help at all, and Deshaun Jackson has an awful lot of real estate in which to work. Antoine Molden is a good 3 yards behind him and not a factor.
Vince Young, 3 out of 4 for 124 yards already, looking for more. Pass to this side of the field is complete to Cooper. Check the offensive line of the Eagles. Some youth in the middle. Andy Reid's nicest surprise has been rookie center Jason Kelce, the 6th-round pick from Cincinnati. The backs and receivers include LaShawn McCoy, who came into the week as the NFL's leading rusher, but has fallen behind Maurice Jones-Drew, who surpassed him today for the time being. 2nd and 4. This is McCoy. McCoy to the 25. The Patriots on defense getting outstanding play from 11-year veteran Andre Carter, who comes in with 9 sacks. At linebacker, Gary Guyton starts outside for injured Brandon Spikes. The mainstay is the 4th-year middle linebacker Gerard Mayo. And in the secondary, Molden and Moore step in for injured starters. Number 24, Kyle Arrington, leading the NFL in interceptions with 7.
And no Patrick Chung, no Devin McCourty. And again, we've seen that the secondary has been exposed here early and often.
On 1st down, Young to throw. Time again, over the middle, tipped and incomplete. Pass intended for Deshaun Jackson. I thought one of the funny things that Bill Belichick told us last night is they have so many explosive players, everything is a punt return waiting to happen.
Well, when you've got those kind of players, but take a look at this. Deshaun Jackson is open. The underneath coverage, I think that was Gary Guyton underneath. He got up and forced Vince Young to elevate that ball, I think, a little more than he would have liked. That was the reason for the overthrow.
On 2nd and 10, McCoy in the backfield with Young, who will throw again. And now out to McCoy in the flat. Off of his fingertips, incomplete.
Boy, the New England defensive line is hardly getting out of their stances. That was an incompletion, but they're not getting upfield and pressuring Vince Young when he drops back to throw. This offensive line of the Eagles is off to an awfully good start.
There's Marty Mornhinweg, the offensive coordinator here in Philadelphia.
Been here 9 years. One of the NFL's really good guys.
3rd best in the league on 3rd down conversions. And we get a timeout called by the Eagles. 8:27 to play in the first quarter in Philadelphia. Hey, if you haven't seen one of this season's most talked about shows, tonight's your chance. Get back-to-back episodes of Person of Interest right here, only CBS. We were all talking about Vince Young, Dan, and what a tremendously different young man this is from the young man we knew as a Tennessee Titan a couple of years ago.
Well, a real maturity expressed by Vince Young, saying, you know, I came to Philadelphia, I wanted to learn from Andy Reid, and I've learned a great deal. And he's connected on a couple of bombs so far in this game. Behind perfect protection, he lays that one out for Riley Cooper, and that results in a Philadelphia touchdown. And then he comes back to Deshaun Jackson, and the middle of the field, the middle of the deep secondary for the New England Patriots is very suspect.
And there's been so much talk about Vince Young over the years of his unorthodox delivery. Andy Reid said, I'm not going to touch your delivery at all. We're just going to work on your footwork.
Yeah, it's all about the putting his hips and his feet in the right direction, a good foundation from which to throw.
Young with a 3rd and 10 now. Under pressure, near side of the field and through the hands of the intended receiver, LaShawn McCoy. That will bring up a field goal situation.
Well, James Ihedebo came on the blitz off the corner, and that forced a quick throw, but it was an accurate throw, and certainly McCoy should have handled that.
Alex Henry, who is 16 of 19 on the season, will attempt this one from about 43 yards out. On its way. And good. 8:19 to play here in the first quarter, and Tom Brady now looking at a 10-point deficit when we come back to Philadelphia after this.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Farmers. Find a knowledgeable local farmers agent at farmers.com. We are insurance. We are farmers. And by Toyota.
Back in Philadelphia, the Eagles with a 10-point lead, and Danny Woodhead once again is deep for the kick for the New England Patriots. Woodhead will not run this one out of the end zone. The touchback will start the Patriots at their own 20-yard line. She's one of the biggest stars in the world, but on 60 Minutes, Angelina Jolie is something quite different. To get a preview right now, simply call *60. That's *60 from your mobile phone.
Well, everybody knows about Tom Brady and his record-setting pair of tight ends, but one of the things that everyone who follows the Patriots knows is they've got to get their wide receivers more involved using the entire field, especially outside the numbers.
Then Jarvis Green Ellis straight ahead to about the 25-yard line, and it's worth noting, by the way, that Nnamdi Asomugha is on the sideline at this point, and Brandon Hughes is in at cornerback.
He was introduced as the starter, ran out to a nice big ovation by the crowd. They realized that his injury on Thursday morning, on Thanksgiving morning, scared his teammates. They thought that he completely blew out his knee. He was taken off the practice field on a cart. It was a non-contact drill, and I don't think anybody at that moment gave him a chance of being out here today.
Green Ellis again to about the 28, as it's pretty obvious that the Patriots want to take a little heat off of Tom Brady.
Well, I think they'd like to sit their defense over on the bench for a little bit and let them compose themselves and get their heads back into this game. Sebastian Vollmer out in front of that thing. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis cut in behind him, but that's a lot of beef out in front.
3rd and 2, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis for the first down.
Nice patience.
And we have a penalty marker on the near side of the field. Our referee today is Jerome Boger.
.12 men on the field, defense. 5-yard penalty resulting in a first down.
Andy Reid's going, that's news to me.
So it's a New England first down, out now to their own 33-yard line.
That was a well-blocked run play by the Patriots. That's Juan Castillo, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. His first year on the job, long-time offensive line coach.
Brady over the middle, close to the 50-yard line, complete to Gronkowski, hit there by Kirk Coleman.
And Tom Brady ended up on the ground again. At the very end of this, you're going to see Trent Cole comes in just about a half a step behind, and that is a pretty solid shot to the body that Gronkowski takes. And Cole, that's nothing he could do about that. He was already on Brady by the time he threw it. Gronkowski is a little shaken up. Remember last week how awkwardly he landed on his head on that touchdown against Kansas City.
This is Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis going nowhere. No gain. It'll be second down and 10. Cullen Jenkins in the middle of the line.
There's a lot of quality defensive linemen here in Philadelphia, and Gronkowski is coming back out to the New England huddle.
Gronkowski told us he broke his ankle in the very first game of football he ever played in.
He said it really made me wonder if I really wanted to keep playing football. That's a discouraging way to start.
Brady on second and 10. That's complete across midfield to about the 46-yard line to Deion Branch.
Well, that was good tight coverage, though, by Joselio Hansen, the cornerback. And for once, Tom gets to settle in, plant, and survey the field, but nice tight coverage by Hansen. And if not, Asamoah's over on the bench. He's one of the guys that's going to see a lot more playing time.
3rd and 5. Throwing, and that's complete to Welker. Inside the 40 to the 36 and a first down.
Boy, and Tom Brady stood in there, but he paid the price again for that completion. And Wes Welker's getting involved. Only 2 receptions a week ago. That time Philadelphia brought 6. It wasn't an initial hard tackle, but then the second guy falls right on top of him. But Wes Welker and Tom Brady work so well together. That's a read by Welker, and when he sneaks in behind Gronkowski, that's good stuff.
Here's Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis again inside the 40 to about the 30, or the 35 to about the 33.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis is what we call a heavy runner. He's only 215 pounds, but when he makes contact with the defender, it's with a thud. And he's a guy that runs much bigger than he really is.
On second and 7, the fake pass to give to Green Ellis inside the 30 and about a yard short of a first down at about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line.
Well, we still got 3 minutes and 40-some seconds left here in the first quarter, and already Tom Brady his uniform is getting a little dirty as he has taken he's been on the ground 4 different times, and 2 of those were pretty hard shots.
And a player late getting off the field for the Eagles forces a Philadelphia timeout. 3:27 to play. First quarter, New England driving.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Hey, got a sports fan on your list? Avoid the crowds with CBSSports.com Shop. And this weekend only, get free standard shipping on all officially licensed gear. Enter CBS free during checkout at shop.cbssports.com.
Big Nate Solder's in there as a tight end. How's that for a lack of production and major contact?
Let's see who gets blamed. Confab in the middle of the field. And the Eagles are applauding.
I've learned to never jump to conclusions with players pointing and clapping.
Well, this is an extended conversation, which would indicate a difference of opinion.
Well, we know there was contact, so somebody's got to pay for it.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Derek Landry.
That's my point about pointing and clapping.
That never seems to influence the officials.
That's trying to influence the jury. The jury pool was having none of it.
So it's a first down for the Patriots at the Philadelphia 22. side, just inside the 20. Derek Landry making that tackle, but not before he reached the 19 or 18-yard line.
Well, Rob Gronkowski is out there on the edge. Number 87. See, he came in motion right there, and he gets just enough on Darryl Tapp. It was just enough to allow BenJarvus Green-Ellis to get to the outside. Right there. It wasn't much, but it was enough. It put him on his knee, and it gave BenJarvus Green-Ellis the edge.
More than a 5-minute drive put together now by Brady and the Patriots. 10th play of this drive, and the handoff to Green-Ellis to the 15.
Well, one thing that BenJarvus Green-Ellis is a patient runner. He really is good about allowing his blockers that are out in front of him the time to set up a block. And that time he got right onto the backside of Logan Mankins and allowed him to get his job done, and it gave him a couple extra yards.
Chad Ochocinco not available to the Patriots, and Tiquan Underwood is into the game, and the hand is for Nnamdi Asomugha, who is onto the field. 3rd and 3. Brady, complete, inside the 5, it'll be 1st and goal. Aaron Hernandez.
Well, so many weapons for Tom Brady, especially in the middle of the field. And Aaron Hernandez is the other talented tight end. Nice blocking up front, and a nice little one-handed stab by Hernandez. Boy, how many years are Patriots fans going to get to watch Gronkowski and Hernandez, both of those guys 22 years old.
On 1st and goal, this is BenJarvus Green-Ellis in the end zone for the touchdown.
That was a textbook New England drive engineered by Tom Brady. Good, solid running. Everybody involved. Good double team, and a nice job by Ryan Wendell, the center. Starts a double team with Brian Waters and comes back off to the inside to get a piece of a guy to keep him away. Considering he's the 3rd center of the year for the Patriots, pretty nice work.
BenJarvus Green-Ellis' 6th rushing touchdown of the season. Gostkowski's extra point is good. That breaks that streak of no touchdowns in first quarters. Under a minute and a half to play. It's 10-7 Eagles. Tom Brady engineering a 12-play, 80-yard drive in just under 7 minutes to pull the Patriots to within 3. And Dion Lewis is deep. Lewis will not run this one out, and the Eagles will start from their own 20-yard line. Where can you find the most beautiful women in the world, along with Maroon 5, Kanye West with Jay-Z, and Nicki Minaj, the Victoria's Secret fashion show, Tuesday, only CBS. Did I detect a Victoria's Secret representative in the studio in the NFL today, Dan?
Either that or we made a major upgrade on the talent sitting at that table, one or the other.
LaShawn McCoy and Ronnie Brown into the backfield with Vince Young on 1st down from the 20-yard line. And Young with time will pop over the middle. That's complete to McCoy, and McCoy to about the 27-yard line.
You know, you touched on it earlier, Greg, when you
The Victoria's Secret thing?
No, we're moving on.
Okay.
No, we're moving on. About Bill Belichick saying that this Eagles offense is just filled with punt returners. You know, mainly he's talking about Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy, and you know, every play is a punt return. No one guy we can count on to make a tackle. If we don't gang tackle and if we don't fly to the football, we're going to get burned with big plays.
Young on 2nd down, under pressure, and goes down inside the 20. Back at the 19-yard line, Rob Ninkovich. And we have a penalty marker.
Holding, offense, number 69. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
The penalty is on Evan Mathis.
Yeah, New England will decline it and take the loss of yardage because of Ninkovich's sack. And you can see right there, he just really runs Gerard Warren upfield. And let's see if the end of this.
Well, it starts out with a face mask.
Well, yeah, Ninkovich, yes, he does. He's got his hand on Vince Young's face mask. And none of the officials saw it.
So on 3rd and 10, Young to the 25 and out of bounds at about the 27 or 28 yard line. That'll be a couple of yards shy of a first down.
Now that face mask penalty, that would have brought an automatic first down for the Eagles, and that's a bad break that went undetected.
So that will send Julian Edelman back for the punt.
You know, the one thing with Vince Young running there, Vince told us that he didn't do much in the way of it last week against the Giants, and he said, I envision myself doing a little more running in this game today.
Speaking of running, we've run out of time here in the first quarter. Philadelphia with a 10-7 lead. We're back to Lincoln Financial Field. After this, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Back for the start of the second quarter, and that's Julian Edelman, who returned a punt 72 yards a week ago for a touchdown against Kansas City.
Played defensive back in that game as well.
Low kick, Edelman with a chance to return it from the 25. Across the 35 and out to about the 38 or 39 yard line. Pretty picture from above. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife on a very pleasant late November evening in Philadelphia.
Well, Nnamdi Asomugha is remaining on the Eagles sideline. He's got a helmet on, but he's not out there with the defense.
Once again, he hyperextended his knee in practice on Thanksgiving Day.
I mean, it looks like he's wanting to play. He's got his chin strap buckled up.
Brady down at the 30-yard line.
Mike Patterson. And that's called steamrolling the quarterback. There's Patterson right over here on the left side, and take a look at this. Great swim move. A tremendous swim move. Getting that arm up and over, and at the last minute, that is an oh-no look by Tom Brady.
He went right past Sebastian Vollmer over there.
That was a slick move.
2nd and 18. Quick pass out to the side is complete to Aaron Hernandez. And we have a penalty marker on the near side of the field. And this looks like an offsides call against the Eagles.
Outside defense, number 58, beating the snap, 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
Defensive end Trent Cole.
Now what Jerome Boger should have said, attempting to beat the snap. Trent Cole is all about speed, all about getting off in a hurry in terms of getting that first step upfield on the offensive tackle, and that'll happen every now and then. He'll walk right on that very sharp edge.
On 2nd and 13, Brady had his man on, he dropped it. Taquan Underwood just signed this week. Couldn't hold on.
And again, Chad Ochocinco is inactive today because of a hamstring he hurt during the week. Underwood is playing because of that. And you draw it up, you execute it, it turns out just the way you practiced it, and it's a drop. Underwood looked totally befuddled by that ball coming at him.
3rd and 13. Brady escapes one, throwing, got his man. Deion Branch. 15, 10, 5, and down at the 1-yard line. 63 yards.
Well, Tom Brady, you don't think of him of staying alive like this, but I'm telling you what, he's grabbed down low, he skips out of it, and after that, the Eagle pass rush just completely disappears. And Deion Branch and Tom Brady have such a history together that when his quarterback's in trouble, look at that. You go, buddy. And he did.
This has been Jarvis Green Ellis to the end zone for the touchdown, and New England.
When the quarterback leaves the pocket, the game changes, and those two were all over it. And again, that's a pretty easy little stroll into the end zone by Ben Jarvis Green Ellis.
His second touchdown of the afternoon, and Gostowski on for the extra point. We get a marker.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still playing the try.
So this extra point will be backed up 5 yards.
There is the look of a guy who's been there, done that before.
The extra point is good. Do you think number 12 could be a part-time air traffic controller?
Well, when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, all the receivers change their routes. Tom Brady changed Deion Branch's, and what do they get out of it? A big play.
There's the drive. Just 4 plays, 54 yards in just over a minute and a half, and a 14-10 New England lead.
Just a fantastic start for the Eagles, jumping out to a 10-0 lead, and then bang, bang.
This kick will not be returned by Dion Lewis, and it will come out to the 20-yard line. Let's look at the biggest play in that drive.
Well, Deion Branch is split out to the left. Here he is right here, and across from him, that's Brandon Hughes. And you're going to see Branch has got his initial route. Okay, the stop route right there, and there comes the look. And he gets the finger, the index finger pointing at him from Brady. And look how close he comes to going out of bounds. But you can see Green, and this is why Andy Reid didn't challenge it. Nice body control by Deion Branch, staying in bounds.
So now it's Young and the Eagles from their own 20-yard line, and Young back to the air, going to go deep, down the far side of the field. It is intercepted. Picked off by Antoine Molden. Molden, a fill-in, the cornerback for the injured Devin McCourty.
All right, well, let's take a look at this right now. That's just man coverage all the way. Deshaun Jackson has got a step, and that's, you know, a lot of times that left hand being thrown out there by Molden would bring an interference call. You know, that's about a 50-50 deal. He almost drops the ball, but he was aggressive with that left hand, a little bit of a shove off, but that could have gone either way.
This is Stephen Ridley, and Ridley spins to the 35. A loss of a yard on the play.
Right now, Eagles fans are going, you know, well, there's a couple here that we had a face mask on Vince Young that didn't get called, and then that one, you could make an argument that maybe that should have been called. And that is one of the things that's contributing to the Eagles' losing record.
And that ball appeared to be underthrown by a few yards too.
Like 20! Hey, flip.
On 2nd and 11, Brady, play fake, over the middle. Got his man inside the 25-yard line. That's Wes Welker.
And Tom Brady right now is feeling it. You know, just the token play action, but again, that is just too easy. Wes Welker working into that Philadelphia zone, finds that soft spot in the middle without anybody within a couple yards of him.
Patriots first down at the 21. The give is to Woodhead. just inside the 20-yard line.
Well, this offense of the Patriots camouflages some of their ills over on the other side of the ball. They are the 32nd ranked defense in the National Football League in terms of yardage. But because of contributions from their offense, and they somehow are 10th in points. Imagine that. Those two numbers don't jive.
Another red zone trip for the Patriots. Ridley wrapped up by Cullen Jenkins.
Well, Cullen Jenkins having a strong start to this evening's game. There he is right here, and take a look at him getting the inside. He just knifes right inside Logan Mankins. And this handoff wasn't the cleanest thing. You can see that he had his hands way out when that ball hit his chest.
Asamoah with another appearance in the secondary on 3rd and 10. Brady, this side of the field off the fingertips of Welker.
And that was a good job by the New England offensive line. Matt Light ran Trent Cole upfield, so Tom Brady, he had the ability to step up and into the ball, and it just got a little bit high. But normally, and I say 95 out of 100 times, Wes Welker makes that catch. But I'm sure Tom Brady is going, man, I wish I'd have thrown that just about 6 inches lower.
And this is Gostkowski from 39 yards out. And he missed it. Stephen Gostkowski misses from 39 yards away. We stay at 14-10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by BP. Verizon, your holiday tablet destination. And by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback.
You know what, Dan? For TV's hottest crime solvers, it's never just another day in paradise. Catch Hawaii 5-0 tomorrow, only CBS.
Well, we got a little bit of paradise here today in Philadelphia with this weather.
Don't think I am unappreciative.
The Sunday between Thanksgiving and December, and it's 65 degrees.
And first down, LaShawn McCoy changing direction, going the other way, and is dragged down back at the 25-yard line.
Nice play by Rob Ninkovich. Really nice. And again, you talk to the defenders for New England, they say, we've just all got to stay home. And look at Ninkovich. Look at him honor his responsibilities. He's got the backside contained, and he's not going to let the containment break down and let him get the edge.
He told us last night, point of emphasis, linebackers and defensive ends have to contain McCoy.
Got to stay home.
2nd and 14. And Chad Hall with the carry on that. Chad Hall, usually a wide receiver.
Little side trip to Houston before making everybody on the Patriots defensive staff happy.
Now Vince Young looking at 3rd and 12. This side of the field, he's got a man and underthrew it.
Oh, he had Deshaun Jackson. Boy, Deshaun Jackson ran a really nice route, and he was open.
That will send Julian Edelman back for the punt. Eagles come into this game with the fewest 3-and-outs in the league. 13 in their first 10 games. It's their second one today.
Well, keep in mind, Michael Vick was playing quarterback for the majority of those.
Edelman, fair catch, ball for and made at the 24-yard line. 8:54 to play. It's a 14-10 New England lead. As we welcome you back to Philadelphia, we know Tom Brady's been big time for a long time, but that's really stepping up the ladder.
Four down.
I think when he matriculated from Ann Arbor, Michigan to New England, I'm not sure he had Johnny Unitas in mind. He was trying to make a football team.
Brady going to throw on first down. Will pass out into a flat for Hernandez, and Hernandez comes down to about a yard short of the first down. We get an NFL Today update. JB and Shannon.
San Diego trying to snap a 5-game losing streak.
Antonio Gates is getting healthy. Phillip Rivers had yet to turn it over. 6-yard TD, 10-0 charge over the Broncos.
15 plays and 91 yards. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, guys, it's almost panic time for the San Diego Chargers. They hand off to Danny Woodhead, and Woodhead breaks free for a first down and more across the 40 to about the 43.
And Tom Brady picking up the tempo here with the New England offense. They snapped the ball there with 19 seconds left on the play clock. And you can see the kind of success they're having. And Tom Brady's got him up to the line of scrimmage again, and he's going to keep his foot on the accelerator.
Brady picks his man, and that is Welker. And Welker across midfield and into Eagles territory, just about a yard short of a first down.
Yeah, the Eagles have their second defensive line, and their Babin and Cole are over on the sidelines. Well, Cole just came back out. All right, they got him right back out.
Read it!
But you need to rotate guys to keep them fresh against this up-tempo offense.
On 2nd and 1, that pass is complete for the first down to Hernandez.
Joselio Hansen lost his helmet there because Cullen Jenkins came in with a big hit. And there's Jenkins is still on the ground. He hustled downfield and made a heck of a hit to finish up that play.
And we are going to get a timeout on the field with 7:19 to play in the first half. New England by 4.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Best Buy. Find the perfect gift online or in-store this holiday season at Best Buy. And by Honda. Come see the wide selection and incredible offers at your Honda dealer during Happy Honda Days.
As we welcome you back, Cullen Jenkins has just now gotten off the field. Let's go back and see if we can figure out what happened to him.
Well, he comes in to tackle Aaron Hernandez from behind. Watch his right arm fly out, and he really knocks the helmet off his own teammate, Joselio Hansen. And he was kind of moving that arm around a little bit as he was sitting there.
You set it down with Tom Brady. Play action, going deep down the middle. Got his man. Touchdown, Welker.
Well, first of all, kudos to the offensive line of the Patriots for giving Brady tremendous protection. Take a look at this, a little play action fake to Woodhead, but then just no pressure whatsoever, and then a complete blow in the secondary. Hansen and Allen, the two closest Eagle defenders, and that's just pitch and catch. That's awfully easy.
Gostkowski's extra point is good. 7:09 to play in the first half, and New England has extended to a 21-10 lead. This game began in convincing fashion for the Philadelphia Eagles, who marched right down and scored in the first 2 minutes and 19 seconds.
Completely befuddled two members of the Eagles secondary.
Here in the second quarter, New England has totaled 145 yards. The Eagles are at -2. Once again, Dion Lewis deep in the end zone for Philadelphia. And this crowd has gone a little quiet. This one's returnable from a yard deep in the end zone.
Yeah, Wes Welker starts from his customary position where he loves it here in the slot. But watch this play action here as Brady comes out. These two guys, man alive, do they bite all over this thing. And Wes Welker is just, look, I'm sorry guys, but you gotta have a little more discipline than that. You can't allow the leading receiver in the National Football League to just run free. And again, look at that blocking by the guys up front. Tom Brady only threw it because he wanted to. He could have stayed there for a while longer.
And we have a flag. Or a challenge flag thrown by Bill Belichick on the far side.
New England is challenging on the field that the runner was not down by contact.
So we will go back and look and see exactly where Dion Lewis was brought down.
Well, let's take a look at it.
That happened right over, pretty close to where Bill Belichick stands, too.
Okay, so right now, does Lewis, well, yeah, his elbow is down. No question about that. All right, let's see where that occurred. Dion Lewis, there's the 10, there's the 15.
And you can see why Lewis kept going, because neither of his knees hit the ground.
That would look to be at about the 18-yard line. He's dragged down by Sergio Brown right there. And no question, the elbow, I don't care if his knees don't touch the ground. His elbow certainly did, and that means he's down.
But that's why Lewis kept going. It was good enough to convince the officials on that side.
Yes. And so they spotted the ball all the way up almost to the 26-yard line. So I would assume that's going to be about a net 8 yards that the Patriots will pick up, but no doubt he was down.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact at the 18-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 7:06. New England is not charged a timeout.
So that'll be a difference of 8 yards to the Patriots' favor.
You can spot a defensive coach a mile away, can't you? 8 yards. 8 yards is a long ways as far as Bill Belichick is concerned.
We're told Cole Jenkins has gone for x-rays to his thumb. His return is questionable. That's a big loss for the Patriot defense. Vince Young throwing outside, and that's complete to Jackson out to the 30 and a first down.
Well, that was a good sharp throw by Vince Young. Remember, their last series ended on a real disappointment where he had Deshaun Jackson wide open.
That's the first down.
On a deep out, and misfired pretty badly.
First down of the second quarter for the Eagles. And Young going to throw it again, and once again it's Jackson, and maybe about half a yard short of another first down at the 40.
Well, there's Philadelphia. You see that great start they got off to with a touchdown and a field goal to get that 10-0 lead, and then since then they've run only 7 plays, a pair of punts and an interception on first down.
So on second and short yardage, McCoy will look for it. Get it
He's got a hole.
Inside the 40-yard line. Brought down by Sterling Moore.
Well, that was beautifully executed by the Eagles. Coming in here off of the right side, the key block, there were 2 of them. One by Watkins, and then the other one by Brent Selleck, the tight end. That was right there's the one block by Watkins, and then Selleck, he pinned his guy to the inside right there as he got White cornered.
Young to throw, and once again Jackson on the near side of the field.
You know, I love a team that comes back to the same thing if it's working. And Vince Young and DeSean Jackson have now connected on basically the same pattern three times.
And LeSean McCoy has just regained the rushing lead in the NFL. This is McCoy. Looking for a first down and right at that marker just inside the 30. And that is enough for a first down.
Well, you've got to love LeSean McCoy's attributes in terms of having some power, but it's really, when you talk to other coaches and players about him, it's the quickness that comes, the first thing that rolls off their tongue when they talk about, wow, his change of direction, his ability to jump cut.
Young throwing the other way. Inside the 10 to the 5-yard line to Brent Selleck, the tight end. It'll be first and goal.
Boy, at first, you know, there was a question in my mind, was Brent Selleck down by contact after making this catch? Look at him go up there, and yes, he is, no question about it. White makes contact with him right there and shoves him, and that's what causes Selleck to go down. What an effort by Brent Selleck. Nicely designed play, though, with that bootleg.
So now the Eagles first and goal. Vince Young trying to elude the rush and gets back to the line of scrimmage at the 5-yard line.
Well, we have seen our fair share of explosive plays in this game so far. I'm sure Bill Belichick's not happy how many of them have been executed by Vince Young in this Philadelphia offense against his D. We're seeing yardage gobbled up in some pretty big chunks.
Second and goal from the 5. Owen Schmidt in at fullback now. Young to the throw for it. All kinds of time. To the 5 and out of bounds at about the 4. It'll be third and goal.
And again, I think anyone who's ever been watching the NFL and Vince Young's career, and I guess you could go all the way back to his days at Texas, out in space, he was a guy that literally would cause some defenders' knees to shake. And right now, when you hear guys on defense talk about Vince Young, they're not nearly as concerned about him out in space as they used to be.
Young throw, missed him in the end zone. Had DeSean Jackson coming across.
Well, DeSean Jackson is finding himself open all over this football field. A couple times Vince Young missed him. This time Vince Young delivers, and DeSean Jackson just has it go right between his hands.
22-yard field goal attempt upcoming from Alex Henry. He hit earlier from 43. And that is good. 2 minutes, 11 seconds remaining here in the first half. The Eagles get 3 of them back, and they trail by a score of 21-13. Since 2007, NFL Play 60 has been traveling the country helping the youth of America to be more active and healthy. This spring, the NFL Play 60 bus will come to a new deserving community, and it could be yours. To find out more, visit NFL.
Who follows the National Football League, who doesn't know that DeSean Jackson wants a new contract, that it has been a real problem for him this year. Got suspended for a game because he was late to a meeting. And again, you know, when those kind of things happen, where you're in the end zone and the ball goes right between your hands, it just exacerbates the entire situation.
And what does Andy Reid tell us? I love the kid.
I don't know.
I love the kid.
He loves the way he works. He likes his attitude. You got to love his ability to turn a big play. But that kind of a drop in a critical game when you're in the dangerous straits that the Eagles find themselves in right now, the margin for error on this team is really non-existent.
This will be Danny Woodhead from the 2. Out across the 20 to about the 21 or the 22-yard line. 2:06 to play. Tom Brady back onto the field.
Well, it's been an exciting game. Vince Young got it going with that long pass to Riley Cooper. That led to this touchdown by LaShawn McCoy. Then Tom Brady, he points to Deion Branch as he gets out of the pocket. Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, he stuffs it into the end zone. And then a big post pattern from Tom Brady to Wes Welker. And 21-13, the Pats on top, and we might have a chance to watch a surgeon at work.
As we come up on a 2-minute warning, Brady escapes trouble and is going to take off across the 30 and slides down to about the 34-yard line. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. 1:58 to play in the first half. We're coming back to Philadelphia in just a moment. That's Bob Kraft, the head man of the New England Patriots, and right next to him, his son Jonathan. And they are still dealing with the loss of Bob's wife Myra last summer. One of the really nice people.
Well, we saw movement there on the defensive line, and then, of course, you see Vollmer jump out of his
Neutral
stance.
zone infraction. Defense, number 93.
Jason Babin was
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Pretty smart move by Sebastian Vollmer to make it look like he instinctively reacted to that. A free 5 yards.
That 13-yard run by Brady, by the way, his longest since the 2007 season.
Could have timed that thing.
Tom doesn't get out much.
With a sundown.
Quick pass this side of the field. Deion Branch, midfield. Into Eagles territory at the 48-yard line and a first down.
And again, New England with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Tom Brady is firmly in control of this.
Louis, all right.
Calls out Chaney as the Mike linebacker.
Brady in and out of the hands of Gronkowski.
Boy, trying to throw into a pretty tight little window there. Here comes Gronkowski, and that's Nnamdi Asomugha. And did Asomugha tip it? Yes, I believe he did. Yep, Asomugha got his hands on it. Yep, look how he alters the flight of the ball, and that explains why Gronkowski wasn't able to handle it.
.131 on the clock. And Brady with the keeper up the middle to about the 37.
Well, if the Mike linebacker walks out and leaves that big bubble over the center position, Tom Brady will just pick up some cheap yards.
A little short one, that's complete to Welker, and Welker is out of bounds inside the 30 at the 28 or the 27. 1:08 on the clock.
And there couldn't be anybody sitting in this stadium when they saw that Tom Brady had over 2 minutes and all 3 timeouts, of which he's used none of them yet. Nobody in here didn't think that he had a good chance at doing just what he's doing now. Brian Waters turning around going, who's the Mike? They need to know to set their protections.
And Brady throwing this side of the field, diving attempt by Welker.
And Tom Brady got hit, and he is... I take that back. That wasn't Brady. That was another one of the Patriots that had trouble getting up.
Second and 10, 64 seconds on the clock. Tip, incomplete. Tipped by Trevor Laws, number 91.
Again, one of the members of the 8-man rotation on the defensive line here for the Eagles. And when you've got to rush the passer as many times as you have to do when you play the Patriots and this up-tempo, your D-line needs a breather every now and then. Here comes pressure.
Brady throwing this side of the field, incomplete, intended for Branch.
Well, that time Juan Castillo dialed up a blitz and brought 6, and Brandon Hughes actually had really good coverage on the outside. Here comes Asamoah, and it's well blocked. It's pretty well picked up considering it was a 6-man rush. I'm telling you, there is some competitive fire that burns inside that guy.
Gostowski, who missed a 39-yarder, now from 45. Got it in there. So with 51 seconds to play here in the first half, New England's lead is now 24-13. A reminder coming up, the Sprint Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Well, we have seen a lot of yardage accumulated by both of these teams. Take a look at it passing wise. Tom Brady 13 of 20, Vince 9 of 16. The difference is 1 touchdown for Brady, 1 interception for Vince. Nobody's doing a whole lot running the football.
There's been a lot of footballs in the air today.
Yeah, although McCoy's got almost a 5-yard per carry average. And Deshaun Jackson 4 receptions for 73, but boy, it could have been so much more. He had a couple patterns where he was wide open and Vince Young didn't get him the ball, and then of course he had the drop in the end zone the last time around, which would have been a touchdown.
You talk about that competitive fire in Tom Brady. How about what Rob Gronkowski shared with us about how Tom Brady gets after him and Aaron Hernandez? Everybody thinks, oh, these two bright young stars at tight end, and they are, but Tom Brady gets on them pretty good.
Gronkowski said, this wasn't a great week for me.
Dion Lewis dropped it in the end zone. He will down it there. So Vince Young and the Eagles will start at their own 20-yard line with 51 seconds on the clock and 1 timeout.
And Vince Young, of course, is playing for the 2nd week in a row because Michael Vick and his 2 broken ribs not able to go. And now the question is going to be, as soon as this game is over, the Eagles have to fly all the way to Seattle for a game Thursday night. And it'll be interesting to see if Michael Vick is any better 4 days from now.
Young. Run. Slides down at the 25. Found no one open downfield. The clock is at 40 seconds and running.
And again, in this kind of a situation, the 2-minute drill, you know, Michael Vick is the guy that had all the reps during the season.
Young again with time, far side of the field, diving catch, no. Incomplete, intended for Cooper. 18 seconds on the clock.
Well, you could hear that ball hit Riley Cooper. I don't know how Bill Belichick does it with this. At the beginning, when the Eagles jump out 10-0, he's got a defensive secondary that's really being played by a bunch of guys that you just are thinking, wow, how do they do it? And somehow they have such a work ethic and such a professionalism that these guys seem to get in the right places more often than not.
And penalty markers fly.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's the rookie right guard, Danny Watkins, and it was voiced to us on more than one occasion yesterday by the Eagles. These fans know their football, and if you don't perform well, they will let you hear it.
Well, that is not a new occurrence.
No. 3rd and 11.
They love their game and they love their Eagles.
Young under pressure over the middle, incomplete.
And Vince had a couple of Patriots coming right up the middle, and of course any quarterback will tell you that's the worst pressure that there is, coming right up inside.
So once again, Julian Edelman will go back for the Patriots, and Chaz Henry will punt it away for the Eagles.
This is where the Eagles coverage team here keep their focus.
Edelman will let this one bounce, and it'll roll to the 30 where he picks it up. It is dropped at the 29 with 2 seconds on the clock. Just enough time for a snap, a knee, and halftime.
I can't imagine anything else.
Hey, nice job.
But with this team and that guy, never say never. No, they're going to take a knee.
No. 20.
And that'll do it for halftime. The Eagles started strong, but it's the New England Patriots that finished strong. 24-13 New England. We're back with the Spread Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Caught inside the 10-yard line by Riley Cooper. Brady escapes one, got his man, Deion Branch. It is halftime, coming up on the start of the third quarter here in Philadelphia. The Patriots leading the Eagles by a score of 24-13. Let's take a look at the Droid Razor play presented by Motorola, Dan.
Well, a lot of teamwork involved here. It started with a tremendous piece of play action by Tom Brady, but then a perfect strike to a wide open Wes Welker after a mistake in the Eagles secondary allowed him to run free, and that was a pretty easy New England touchdown.
Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. We said this earlier today, Dan. For the Patriots to win today, it would be a nice win, but the Philadelphia Eagles are in a must-win situation at 4-6.
Yeah, at 4-6, and looking at their schedule down the road, and again on short notice having to fly all the way to Seattle. Even though the Seahawks aren't one of the NFL's premier teams, it's still a tough place to win. So they can't, if they technically they're not out of if they lose today, but Greg, for all intents and purposes, they are the biggest of long shots if they can't beat the New England Patriots here this evening.
And the New England Patriots will get their hands on the ball first here in the second half. Danny Woodhead is deep. And it is Woodhead from 3 yards deep in the end zone to the 20. Out across the 30 to about the 31-yard line, and some first half numbers, Dan.
Well, again, we talked about big chunks of yardage by both of these teams. You can see the Eagles penalized 6 times, and they haven't converted a third down. This is a killer. Something they did so well in that drive last week to win the game against the New York Giants.
This has been Jarvis Green Ellis for a couple.
And if ever a defense needed a 3 and out, it's the Eagles right now. Because if New England is able to put together another long drive that results in some points, well, obviously, going up by that margin is tough. But again, it's just a little demoralizing.
1 yard pickup, 2nd and 9. Brady crossing pattern. Welker holds on, has a first down, and out to about the 44-yard line. First down.
Boy, they love these intermediate Little crossing patterns. Wes Welker coming out of the slot there on the left. How many times have we seen that? Just operating underneath the coverage. The Eagles dropping back into a zone, and the Patriots will feast on the underneath stuff.
On first down, Brady looking both ways and then throws to the right and hits Deion Branch.
And again, it's an up-tempo offense. Here come the Patriots to the line of scrimmage.
Here's Cullen Jenkins, who left the field with an injury in the first half. He's back.
Yeah, that's really good news for the Eagles. He was having a really good first half, all over the place.
And Nnamdi Asomugha into the secondary for Philadelphia. Brady escapes pressure, on the move again, and slides down inside the 40 at the 38-yard line.
Tom Brady keeps catching his knee. The first time he did that, he dug a huge divot, and that time his knee brace catches the sod here and digs right in. Again, and that's, you know, that is not a smooth landing when that knee digs in like that. And it actually rolled Tom over.
He looks like he's gardening.
Well, he wears a brace on that left knee, of course. And I think everybody remembers the injury. He's going to wear that the rest of his career.
On 2nd and 2 over the middle. That is complete inside the 30 to Branch. And another first down for the Patriots.
And that is, you know, that is doing some real gardening there. Tom Brady, the second time he's dug a hole here at Lincoln Financial, and again, this Eagles defense, particularly in the secondary, is struggling to keep up with the Patriots receiver.
Quick pass this side, complete to Fernandez. Fernandez shaking tackle to the 10 inside the 10-yard line. Brought down by Asomugha.
And I really admire Nnamdi Asomugha trying to play. You can see he's grimacing as he gets up, but just a nicely designed screen. Gronkowski gets out, makes a block. Julian Edelman on the outside. Nothing spectacular, but they walled their guys off.
First and goal. Brady throwing and bounces that one at the feet of Branch. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, Curtis Marsh really got a good jump on that. And another Eagle player on the ground, that's Trevor Laws.
And I'd say the problem is his right leg.
I hope that's a cramp for his sake.
They'll check on him. We'll take a break. 11:32 to play in the third. Trevor Laws, number 91, was able to walk off the field under his own power. Did appear to be a cramp.
Yeah, the way he walked off, that I'm almost sure that's what it was.
Meanwhile, 2nd and goal. Sebastian Vollmer has left the field with an ankle injury. He's been replaced by Nate Solder at right tackle. Brady inside the 5 and touchdown, Wes Welker.
Well, talk about a bang-bang play at the pylon. But the ruling on the field, Wes Welker got the ball across the plane. And again, what a perfect pass from Tom Brady. Look at that, right onto the hands. And now Wes Welker, being the athlete he is, stretches the ball over the pylon. Nifty, nifty piece of work by number 83.
Welker's 2nd touchdown catch of the day, number 8 on the season.
This is being reviewed upstairs automatically because it was ruled to be a score on the field.
And Jerome Boger now is going to take a walk over here to the near sideline.
The one angle that we looked at really looked like when he leaned it out there that he got it over the pylon. From that angle there, it certainly looked like he got it over the pylon. Now, I know when he lands, the ball hits the ground, but keep in mind, Wes Welker already had possession of that football. that hitting the ground and keeping control of it, I don't believe comes into play right here, because Wes Welker already had control of the football.
And that right foot didn't appear to be out of bounds at about the 1 yard line.
No. Turned it up. Yeah, he turned it upfield, and looked to me like he executed everything you need to do to have a touchdown. The right foot was in bounds as he reached it out over the pylon.
The right foot comes down at the 1.
And it's in bounds, and the ball appears to have broken the plane. And again, keep in mind, it was ruled a touchdown on the field, which means that Jerome Bogerts has to see something that is absolutely going to convince him otherwise.
And he has seen what he needs to see.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Well, that is how you take control of a football game, by getting the second half kickoff and just jamming it down the other team's throat.
Make it 27 touchdown passes for Brady on the season. Gostkowski with a point after. And it's good. So just under 11 and a half to play in the third quarter. The Patriots come out with 7 points on the board. 31-13, Pats.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, in theaters December 21st. And by Nike. Basketball never stops.
These New England Patriots on a scoring binge. They've now put 102 points on the board in their last 3 games, including today.
They've already put 344 yards of offense against this Philadelphia defense.
And Dion Lewis will not run this one out of the end zone. It'll be first down, Philadelphia at their own 20-yard line.
This is the most American game played. When we graduate, we'll be on the same team. But when we're on that field, we do not like each other.
They're there for a special reason. It's not just about the football.
That's a Game of Honor premiering December 21st only on Showtime, and a special behind-the-scenes look December the 3rd on CBS.
I'm very proud to have called an Army-Navy game.
Vince Young out to the side, complete to Brent Selleck, his tight end. And a pickup of about 4 to the 24-yard line. Dan, it is a pretty quiet Eagles crowd.
Well, they're still here. I'll say that for them. Even though their team's down 31-13, I have seen the aisles are clear.
Young throwing, and it's complete to the 45-yard line with Jason Avant, his first catch of the day.
Again, we've seen some good things out of the Philadelphia offense. We've seen a lot of big plays. We just haven't seen consistency. And you can see he just barely got that over the reach of Phillip Adams.
Only the 5th first down for the Eagles since the first quarter. This is McCoy.
And that's the one thing, this is the NFL's leading rushing team, averaging almost 170 yards a game running the football, and they have really worked at it. That they've only got 46 yards on the day today. So that's now they're behind, so you're not going to really work on running the football now, but in the first half to have only 44 yards rushing had to be a disappointment to them.
Young over the middle. Gets inside the 40 and complete to Avant again to about the 36, and that's another first down.
But you know that it goes down as a completed pass by Vince Young, but you got to be able to give your receiver a chance to do something with the ball. And that ball was high and behind Jason Avant. And, you know, to make the catch, he ends up on the ground instead of hitting him in stride where he's able to do something with it and maybe turn it into a really big play.
Young crossing pattern, incomplete at the 25 and hit hard was Avant. Kyle Arrington made contact and Avant is still down.
Well, working against the New England zone, there's a tackler waiting for you. And Kyle Arrington, shoulder to the midsection, the helmet off to the side. That is exactly the way you're supposed to do it. But boy, a receiver running against a zone like that, there's somebody there waiting for you on the other side, and sometimes it's a heavy hit. We only hope he's okay.
Happy to say Jason Avant appeared to have gotten the wind knocked out of him and came off the field under his own power. He's standing along the sideline. 2nd and 10 for Vince Young and the Eagles. Young. That's complete. Inside the 15 to the 10-yard line to Clay Harbor, the tight end. And a nice throw by Young.
Oh, yeah, Clay Harbor, a young player. And this is a great job of catching it in traffic. You know you're going to get popped, and that's exactly what happened with Harbor. He took a big shot and held on to that football. And, you know, after watching what happened to Jason Avant the time before, you admire a guy that's got the ability to go in and do that. Nice work.
Julian Edelman is in the secondary for the Patriots on first down. This is McCoy. McCoy looking for running room just inside 10.
Well, Julian Edelman, because of all the injuries, he's a receiver and a kick returner, but because of his versatility and being a good athlete, he's the latest guy to get drafted by Bill Belichick to go both ways and take some defensive snaps.
Brings back memories of Troy Brown, doesn't he, Dan?
Well, with Patrick Chung not playing, Devin McCourty not playing, Ross-eye Dowling, their number 2 pick ended up on injured reserve. They're really thin.
On 2nd and 8, Young with lots of time. On the move. Inside the 5 to about the 3.
And Julian Edelman. How about that? Now you'd think, wait a minute, no way can Vince Young, a really effective scrambler and an open field runner, he can't be tackled by a wide receiver, can he? And look at that. Edelman breaks down, gets his shoulders square. Young tries to put the juke on him, puts a double move on him, and look at Edelman. Stayed square, didn't commit, drove through a leg, and wrapped it up. Pretty nicely done. 3rd and 1. McCoy. Nowhere to go.
Be short of a first down. Appears to be about a yard short of a first down.
And we've got a New England Patriot down on the ground.
If that's James Ehedibo, then that is an injury to an already thin secondary.
It is Ehedibo, their starting safety, and he's had a bad shoulder. Former New York Jet, new to the Patriots this year.
So they will look at him and will bow out for this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by National Car Rental. Go national. Go like a pro.
4th and 1, and Andy Reid is going to go for it, and not much choice here. He needs touchdowns and not field goals.
Well, he only needs a yard for a first down.
And before he gets a chance to go for it, the New England Patriots are going to call a timeout, use their first here in the second half, and it really isn't much of a tough decision for Andy Reid.
Oh, no, you don't know if you're going to get back here anytime soon, so you're this close. You don't settle for a field goal in this situation.
New England with a 31-13 lead as we come up on 6.5 minutes to play.
I mean, you also got to understand that, you know, Andy Reid is thinking to himself right now, I need touchdowns because I haven't seen anything from my defense that leads me to believe that the New England Patriots are stuck on 31. So I don't think field goals are an attractive option for the Eagles.
James Ahedibo has checked back into the lineup for New England as they make wholesale changes on defense here. 4th and 1. It is possible for them to get a first down without scoring a touchdown. McCoy in the backfield. Young rolls, throws, back to the end zone. It's incomplete. Too far.
Bad throw from Vince Young. That had no chance of being completed in the field of play. You can't throw a pass that has such a small margin of error. He's trying to find Brent Selleck at the back of the end zone, but Selleck is covered pretty well by Kyle Arrington, even though Arrington loses his footing and goes down. But Young tries to float the ball in there, but even if Selleck would have made that catch and come down with the ball, he would have been at least 6 or 8 feet out of bounds.
So on first down, Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis for maybe 2 yards, maybe a yard to the 3.
Not much. I mean, Brent Selleck did everything he could do to try to come down with that football, but didn't matter at all. Well, normally in this situation, you just try to hammer away, but let's be realistic. I don't think the Patriots are all that concerned about Tom Brady throwing the football out of his own end zone.
Tom Brady's never been shy about throwing out of his end zone. 2nd and 9. Ball was by Deion Branch before he turned to look for it, and it'll be 3rd down.
Remember in the opener, it was this same situation where the Patriots threw a 99-yarder to Wes Welker. So they've enjoyed some success throwing out of their own end zone in that opening day win against Miami.
So Eagles fans looking for a defensive stop here. We've dipped under the 6-minute mark for the 3rd quarter. Brady got rid of it. That's complete to Branch. Branch up the middle of the field, across the 25 to the 26, and a first down.
And boos start to rain down out of the upper deck. Again, just a 4-man rush. And Tom Brady doesn't really have great protection. He can't step into that at all. But Deion Branch, he just finds a little room.
This is Woodhead. Across the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
And again, this is just this is an offense that is just working so smoothly. You know, Tom Brady on his way to over 5,000 yards if he continues on this pace.
20.
Dan Marino's record is under attack by a group of quarterbacks this year.
This has been Jarvis, Green, Ellis, and heavy contact.
Well, this is really encouraging for the New England Patriots fans to see Wes Welker and Deion Branch back in the mix. Those two only had 2 receptions apiece in the win last week against Kansas City, and everybody's going, well, we need to get our wideouts involved. Well, you've been heard and answered. 13 catches between the two of them.
3rd and 4. Direct snap to Woodhead. Woodhead trying to turn the corner and won't make it. Nice play by the rookie, Brian Roll.
Well, Brian Roll is, and we haven't talked about him much tonight. He's an undersized linebacker from Ohio State, their 6th-round draft pick this year, but he can run. And right there, you would think that Danny Woodhead had the corner, that he wasn't going to have much of a problem.
Offense, number 77. That
and we have a clipping penalty called against Nate Solder.
And because it'll be a 4th down, you decline that and accept the punt. But that's a good look at the reason that Brian Roll has been playing. Tonight's his 8th start, and he, in the open field, he can cover some ground.
Deshaun Jackson deep. Only the 2nd time today that the Patriots have punted.
But a good drive as they pushed it 30 yards away from their end zone.
Jackson, fair catch ball, and he lets it fall, and it takes a New England bounce inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line. 3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the 3rd. The boos rain down. Vince Young's got to do something about that, not to mention the Patriot defense. 3:20 to play in the 3rd quarter. Vince Young and the Eagles from their own 12, and Young up the sideline. That is complete to LaShawn McCoy, and he is out of bounds at about the 23 for a 1st down. And while the scoreboard isn't so sweet for Eagles fans, that's a beautiful sight from up above. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife.
It's a beautiful football stadium. It really is. This whole sports complex here in Philadelphia, it's really impressive.
So the Eagles with a 1st down now at their own 23. Young change of direction, threw that one into the dirt. Deshaun Jackson double cover coming across the field.
Well, yeah, I think he was so locked into Deshaun Jackson that he made the right call in not trying to complete it. I think he actually threw that into the ground on purpose. Here comes Deshaun Jackson, and it's Edelman who's buying none of it. He reads the break all the way. I'm going to give Vince the benefit of the doubt and say that he thought he was covered and got rid of the football. I'd like to think that he wasn't really trying to throw that.
2nd and 10. Screen. 25, 30 to about the 31-yard line. Julian Edelman again in on the tackle of LaShawn McCoy.
Boy, LaShawn McCoy can change direction. He is fun to watch with the football. You know, Brian Westbrook's so good for so many years here in Philadelphia, and McCoy can do a lot of the things that Westbrook did, and some of them, in terms of just pure quickness, he does them better.
And on 3rd and 1, Young to throw for it. And he's got his man across midfield and into New England territory is Jason Avant for a 1st down.
Well, you can't do it any better than Vince Young did it right there. I mean, take a look at this. A little double move and out and it up by Jason Avant. And again, they're going for the matchup. I mean, they're going to Edelman. And Edelman, you know, he bit on it a little bit. He didn't bite on it all the way, but he bit on it just enough to allow that window. And Vince Young with a really well-thrown pass.
And for the 1st time today, the Eagles convert on 3rd down. Young, deep drop this time. All kinds of timing. He's going to go deep to the end zone. That is incomplete.
Boy, did Sergio Brown get a hand in there at the last minute? The crowd is booing, but I thought Sergio Brown actually broke that up. Let's take a look at it. Here comes the ball. And I can't tell from that angle. From that angle, it looked like he didn't. But it sure when it happened. Let's take it from another angle. Let's look at, here comes Brown, 31. And he did get his hand on the right arm of Deshaun Jackson.
Young. The receiver slipped and fell, and the ball popped up and fell incomplete. Off of Kyle Arrington to JB and Shannon in New York. Guys.
Shannon, might we call this a golden play?
Yes. What's more valuable than silver, JB?
Yep, it's gold.
Golden. 18-yard touch, 15-yard touchdown from Tavares Jackson, 17-7. Why would you go to the ground and get a penalty? But hey, 17-7, Seattle.
All right, Greg, I know there's a comment coming back. Greg and Dan.
Well, I think we've seen our fair share of silly penalties today.
Yeah, there have been a couple of them, like receivers behaving badly.
Young throwing and incomplete off the fingertips at the 30-yard line of Jason Avant. And Julian Edelman in on Vince Young on that play.
And Vince Young is still not up. And he's finally jogging towards the Philadelphia sideline. Here comes Edelman on a blitz. And again, Julian Edelman sliding the helmet off to the side, hitting him with the shoulder. Edelman doesn't watch out. His days as a receiver might be over for a while.
Well, he's going to get a break from returning punts as Wes Welker drops back. Bill Belichick's kind of football player, isn't he, Dan?
Yes, he is. Of course, he's not the first Patriot to do that. Troy Brown.
Welker, fair catch, ball for made at the 15-yard line. Just a reminder of what's coming your way next Sunday. The NFL on CBS, regional action coming your way. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. That's Andy Dalton and Ben Roethlisberger. Darren, you and I will be in Miami, where the Dolphins will play host to the Oakland Raiders. It all begins with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines.
During the kick, holding, kicking team number 29. The 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. First down, New England.
So that penalty is assessed against the Eagles and will advance the ball to the 25-yard line.
Well, Andy Reid has tried to remain upbeat, positive about his football team, but there's going to be some hard questions if they don't come up with a pretty stupendous remaining 16 minutes here.
Both these quarterbacks have 296 yards throwing today. With lots of different results. There's a screen to the far side to Fernandez. To about the 28. 50 seconds to play in the third.
Yeah, and you know, the Eagles have talent, but you know, let's be realistic. We're looking at one team here who's playing with their starting quarterback, who's playing the game at the highest level, and one team is playing with their backup quarterback because their starting quarterback has missed his second game in a row. That's a big difference.
This is Ridley. And Ridley to the 35, and right at a first down marker. That is enough for a first down.
But I am very impressed with what the Patriots have done offensively. They're at 385 yards through 3 quarters of football.
And Tom Brady at 300 yards throwing with a quarter to go.
That is flat getting it done.
We come to the end of 3 with the score. New England 31, the Eagles 13. Brady and company rolling. We'll come back to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Along with our producer, Mark Wolf, and our director, Bob Fishman, Greg Gumbel, Dan Beardorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew in Philadelphia, we start the 4th quarter. And Tom Brady with the handoff to Stephen Ridley. And if you want to know just how impressive an offensive performance it's been for the New England Patriots, that graphic tells you right there is the Patriots have gone over 30 points in 8 of their 11 games this season.
And then that middle figure, their 5 scoring drives of 50-plus yards. That is so impressive. And there, of course, is former Patriot Asante Samuel, who the game has been happening in places tonight where he has not been. He has not been involved in a big play this entire game.
Brady over the middle, complete to midfield, Gronkowski.
And what a target. And what a good kid. Talking to him, he has got a personality. But again, he was telling us Tom Brady is so hard on Aaron and I. There are days we just can't do anything right. He barks at us. He goes, I thought this was pick on Rob week. And I think it says a lot about the leader that Tom Brady has become and how he demands excellence from his teammates.
This is Shane Vereen, and Vereen doesn't make it back to the 50-yard line. But every time you think of Tom Brady, maybe people don't get the picture of just how tough and a leader that he is in the locker room as well as on the field.
Well, in public, he's a quiet guy. He's soft-spoken, extremely intelligent. But I'm telling you something. We saw that shot of him on the sideline when he threw a pass that he thought was a little high to Wes Welker in the first half, and he was furious that then they missed the field goal. He is one competitive son of a gun.
Second and 10. Brady throwing far side of the field, nowhere near Deion Branch. Once again, to New York.
Washington trying to keep it close, Shannon.
JB, does anybody here besides me remember Ronaldo skeets Nehemiah? Breaks a tackle. 28 yards later, make him smell deodorant in the end zone. 17-13, Seahawks.
Extra point is pending. Yes, Skeets Nehemiah from the University of Maryland is doing those all too well. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, guys, thank you. 3rd and 10. Pass out into the flat, complete to Welker. Welker, first down at the 40-yard line.
They converted anyway, but we were talking about Tom Brady being competitive. He took a bite out of Deion Branch after that last incompletion on 2nd down where Branch kept running and Brady threw to the spot. And boy, Tom Brady walked a good 10 yards over to intercept Branch on his way back to the huddle, and Deion got an earful. But they converted anyway.
New set of down. The give is to Vereen, and he'll get 1, maybe 2. And a little bit of shoving in the middle of the field.
Greg, we talked about the fact that those 5 drives of 50-plus all ended up being scoring drives for the Patriots. The Patriots, and it's still 12 minutes of football left, they have 26 first downs in this football game. Now that is moving the chains. That has got to make BB happy.
Flip. Not so much on the far side of the field. 2nd and 9. And this is Vereen. Vereen turns the corner, able to do it. And knocked out of bounds at about the 31-yard line by Nate Allen.
Well, Shane Vereen, their 2nd-round pick this year, the rookie from Cal, he got some playing time last week in the game against Kansas City, and he's able to get the corner on this. And you got to earn your playing time in New England, and Shane Vereen has done so. And his problem is the fact that Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and Danny Woodhead are both playing so well, and there's only so many carries to be had in this New England offense.
Brady gets himself a carry there on the sneak.
I think this Shane Vereen, though, has a nice upside.
And there is Vince Young. Found it interesting. Vince Young was saying that he's out to change some old perceptions about him. He said, what perceptions? He said, that I don't study, that I don't take this game seriously.
He signed a 1-year deal here in Philadelphia, and he's hoping to springboard someplace else.
This is Vereen. To about the 32.
And again, he said the primary reason, I knew I wasn't going to start here because Michael Vick was firmly entrenched, but he said, I wanted to learn. I know what a teacher Andy Reid is, his ability to develop quarterbacks, and I wanted to learn from Andy Reid. Well, we've seen flashes. He has made some outstanding throws today. Some of them have been not so good. And of course, last week, he really in clutch time with that big drive, that 80-yard drive to score the winner against the Giants.
Brady over the middle, wide open. Hernandez inside the 20 to the 15, and another first down.
And this must be so discouraging for this defense of the Eagles, because they just can't stop the Patriots. You'd think, and Juan Castillo is he's under fire, he's under siege in this city. Longtime offensive line coach. Andy's under fire for appointing Juan to the defensive coordinator's job.
And around. Welcome.
Well, good hustle there.
Nate Allen making a stop.
Well, that was good hustle by the Eagles defense, and but you can see this Patriots offense. Here they are, 31-13, and they're running an end around at you.
But back to what you were talking about,
Yeah.
Dan, the whole situation with these Eagles, and you heard the whole thing about the dream team and so on, and there's the owner, Jeffrey Lurie.
And he's he wants to win. He's proud of what he's brought, under his ownership, his tenure with the Eagles, what they've accomplished, and it's been a lot, but it hasn't been a Super Bowl win.
2nd and 19, inside the 5 to the end zone. Gronkowski, touchdown.
And we are watching an offensive football team that just can't hardly execute any better. They are doing it all. They're pass blocking, they're run blocking, and obviously their quarterback. And now Rob Gronkowski, the mega spike. And that was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't one of his more vicious ones. He told us last night, and I kind of think that's my thing.
I don't think a seismograph floated anywhere on that one.
But we aren't about to argue with someone that big. The Gronkowski spike punctuating yet another Patriot touchdown. About 8.5 to play here in the fourth quarter, and the Philadelphia Eagles and their fans have been hit by a New England buzzsaw. The Patriots have equaled their highest point total of the season. They scored 38 in the season opener at Miami.
Well, few teams had the excitement level that the Eagles did when the CBA was agreed to and this team was assembled. There was a fever pitch of excitement surrounding this Eagle team.
Dion Lewis will not run this one out of the end zone. It'll be, once again, a start from the 20-yard line when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new 80-inch from Sharp, the leader in the largest LED TVs. New Year's Eve, in theaters December 9th. And by GMC. Now during the GMC holiday event, trade up to the best Sierra ever and get some of the best offers of the year.
Not so much for that young man, but it's shaping up to be a sweet short ride back to New England for the Patriots, who lead at 38-13 with 8:35 to play. Vince Young throwing and completing to Avant, and Avant across the 35 to the 36-yard line. And a first down. And we have a player down on the field. That is number 27, Antoine Molden.
And again, he being encouraged to stay down by one of his teammates. Both of these teams so banged up in the secondaries.
And the hits just keep on coming. Antoine Molden offered a little resistance, didn't want to come out of the game, but of course he was required to, and he walked off the field under his own power. Sterling Moore has moved over to replace him at cornerback from safety, and Sergio Brown is now playing safety.
But Molden took a pretty good hit to the head.
Young running out of time and gets planted at the 50-yard line by Mark Anderson.
And Mark Anderson, sometimes if you're rushing in your lane, something good happens. And that flag is way downfield. It's on the other side of the 50-yard line.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket, illegal contact, defense, number 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So instead of that being a mammoth loss, Phillip Adams' penalty gives the Eagles a first down, and there it is.
There it is right there. And you know that's not a penalty if the quarterback is out of the pocket, but certainly that is well beyond the 5-yard limit.
Mr. Young was prevented from leaving the pocket.
Mr. Anderson lost the sack.
First down.
He won't be happy about having that taken away from him.
Young over the middle. Popped into the air. Here comes a flag.
Well, that ball struck one of the guys up front. I'm not sure if it hit one of his offensive linemen or one of the Patriots.
Pass interference, offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So that penalty is against Avant.
Well, Jason Avant is back out on the field after taking that big hit. But it makes a tough situation here even a little harder now, 1st and 20. But again, this Patriots secondary, we may see some more offensive guys playing back there other than Edelman before this is over, if Molden doesn't come back. Luckily, Hedebo, who was hurt earlier, he's back.
Well, those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Our game between New England and the Eagles, and the Patriots lead it 38-13 with 7.5 to play. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except in the West Coast time zone.
There seemed to be some confusion as to whether the Patriots accepted or declined the penalty. And I guess now they're saying they're going to pick up the flag. But because it was a tipped ball, I don't know how anyone could have missed the fact that it was a tipped ball. It only bounced about 40 feet in the air. And there's a false start. Chad Hall at the top broke out of his
false start. Offense, number 16. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You know, Dan, we see Vince Wilfork down there, the big defensive tackle. It was interesting talking with him about Ndamukong Suh. And Vince agreed that his position is probably the most frustrating position on the football field. And although there's a lot of frustration involved, and the young man has an awful lot of talent, he's got to rein in his emotions and do it in a hurry. Young to the tight end, Brent Selleck, and Selleck down at about the 36.
And Greg, to follow up on that, Vince said, you know, that was my reputation. Vince Wilfork said, you know, I was labeled as a dirty player and that reputation, and he said I knew I had to do something about it. And he said I've just learned to control my emotions, and that's what Ndamukong Suh has to do.
Young, and that ball's incomplete at the 45-yard line. James Hedebo broke it up.
Well, Hedebo and Phillip Adams both bracketing the receiver, and Vince Young is locked in, looking all the way, trying to get this ball to Jason Avant. But Hedebo undercut it and got a piece of the football.
So Welker once again deep for the kick.
And this Eagles offense just really missing the explosiveness that Michael Vick brings when he breaks out of the pocket. The way he can move the chains with his feet.
Side of his foot.
A total shame punt. Like things aren't going bad enough for the Eagles.
Chaz Henry got that one away, and It was awful. That ball is going to be placed at the 45-yard line, and that was all of an 18-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint. All football, no limits, only from Sprint. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own Subway steak melt today.
The Eagles wide receiver Jeremy Maclin visited Eddie Stone Elementary in suburban Philadelphia as part of the NFL's Play 60 activities and spent the day with students at the school. A group of kids led the team onto the field during introductions, and they were selected through a kids club contest where they had to write in and say how they play 60. And the NFL has committed more than $250 million to NFL Play 60 over the last 4 years. Tom Brady on the sideline, Brian Hoyer in the backfield. And we have a penalty marker and appears to be a holding penalty.
Offense, number 54. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
It's the veteran Brian Waters. There's Hoyer, the third-year quarterback out of Michigan State.
He has 42 career attempts. And again, a pretty good gig learning how to play football watching Tom Brady. Kind of interesting, a quarterback from Michigan being backed up by a quarterback from Michigan State.
This is Shane Vereen. And more penalty markers. And more holding.
Holding, offense, number 54.
That's back-to-back for Brian Waters.
Second down.
Waters, the 5-time Pro Bowler.
Well, what a great addition he has been to this offensive line of the Patriots. And playing right guard when he went to 5 Pro Bowls for the Chiefs as left guard, and he came over and slid into the right guard position because obviously Logan Mankins owns the left guard position with the Patriots. Really has done a nice job.
So second and long for Hoyer. And this is Vereen. Vereen changing direction. Across the 40 and out to about the 44-45 line. Where it'll be third and about 10.
Well, the Patriots go home, and they are at home next weekend against the Indianapolis Colts. And normally you would see a December matchup between the Patriots and the Colts, and it would be what we've grown accustomed to the last 10 years, and that's not the case.
Not tonight, Josephine.
No. One of the great rivalries of the last decade are the Patriots and the Colts, and obviously with Peyton Manning being out, the Colts season it hasn't started yet.
Green left side and goes down, and that will create a punting situation, and a timeout is called for by the Eagles. Interesting day as always around the National Football League. The Cincinnati Bengals were down early, came back to beat the Browns in the Battle of Ohio. Houston Texans beat Jacksonville, but quarterback Matt Leinart with a shoulder injury. They're wondering if he'll be able to come back at all this season. And Mark Sanchez with 4 touchdown passes as the Jets came back to beat the Buffalo Bills. So in the AFC, Baltimore, Houston, New England, Oakland, all division leaders. New England about to go to 8-3. And the wild card teams as of this moment, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Well, and how's the AFC North division doing with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati all having really good years? That's a heck of a division there.
Chad Hall deep. Fair catch as he drifts out of bounds at the 10-yard line. 5:10 to play. Tom Brady's day is done here in Philadelphia, and it wasn't a bad day at all.
No, it was really something to watch if you love to watch an offense clicking on all cylinders. First Deion Branch, then Wes Welker, then Welker again. Credit Welker with that one. Then Tom's way of letting everyone get in on the action. Rob Gronkowski gets another touchdown, his 11th of the season.
Brady 24 of 34 for 361 and 3 touchdowns. And on first down, Vince Young rolling, throws over the middle, and that's complete across the 20 to Avant.
Yeah, here we go with the Patriots schedule, and there's that Colts game on the 4th that I talked about. Then a pair of road games at Washington, at Denver, and then back home to finish it out against the Dolphins and the Bills. And as you can see, there's a fair number of teams on that schedule with losing records.
Down, Young throwing far side of the field, and it is incomplete. By the way, we showed Eagles owner Jeff Lurie earlier today. Congratulations to him and to the Eagles. They've been named a finalist for the 2011 Beyond Sport Best Team Award that honors the best team in the world for philanthropic endeavors. Date of that award is December the 8th, and the other finalists are the NBA's Memphis Grizzlies, Manchester City Football Club, and Liverpool Football Club. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to Jeffrey Lurie and the entire Eagles organization. Well done.
Good community stuff. Vince Young's going to go deep. Near sideline, it is incomplete. Intended for Hall. And we dip under 4.5 minutes to play.
Well, and this is, again, it's never easy to have a season go awry, and that's what Andy Reid is dealing with right now. 13 years he's been here at the head of this Eagles team, and now that they're going to dip to 4-7 on the season with all the high hopes that were there at the beginning of the season, all of the free agent signings, the quote-unquote dream team.
Slides down at the 30.
And then on top of it all, you only have a couple days to prepare before you get on an airplane on Wednesday and fly all the way to the great Northwest to go out and play the Seahawks. Talk about a short week made even shorter by having to go coast to coast.
Because one of those few precious days takes up travel.
Yep.
4th and 3. Young throwing to this side, and that catch is made by Riley Cooper. And that'll be a first down. Clock continues to move as we come up on 3.5 minutes to play in the 4th.
You know, Vince Young's completion percentage, it's below 50%. Actually, he just went over 50%. He's 20 of 39 right now.
Young, incomplete, far side of the field. That is Deshaun Jackson.
And Deshaun Jackson not participating in this offensive series, and again, it's been a frustrating year for him. There's been a lot of good, but there's also been some inconsistencies, and we've seen tonight, we saw a little bit of that, kind of a microcosm of what's been going on. He dropped a touchdown pass, found himself open several times. Vince Young couldn't deliver a good pass.
Young lofting this one, and penalty marker is thrown as the receiver is tripped up on the way.
Well, there was a holding call back in the backfield too. The Eagles they committed a hold in their pass protection, so we may get offsetting penalties here.
Vince Wilfork accepting kudos back there.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference. Defense number 24 not playing the ball. Holding. Offense number 63. Those fouls offset. Replay, second down.
Bill Belichick's demeanor never changes, does it?
Well, he's just, you know, he's always coaching. He's working now. And again, this New England defense, their stats are bottom of the barrel stuff. We'll take a look at it after this play.
You look at their defensive numbers and you wonder how in the world are they coming up on an 8-3 record. This is LeSean McCoy going nowhere. Take a look at the numbers.
Yeah, take a look at where they stand. Dead last in yards, passing yards, big plays of 20 plus. First downs, there's only 2 teams worth. But then, you know, you get to the bottom of this thing and you look at that and you go, how do those numbers, how do they jive? How do they, you know, and I'll tell you how, because of that offense. It's because of how efficient their offense is in scoring points and moving the ball.
They've still surrendered 386 yards today. This is Vince Young running out of bounds at about the 48-yard line.
Well, they get down in the red zone. They get down in the red zone and they tighten up. But even, you know, even their red zone stats aren't great. But when you look at the injuries and you've got, you know, a guy like Edelman that has to play defense. That, you know, 400 yards normally does not equate to 13 points, and yet somehow that's the Patriots formula. Now you got to wonder when it comes playoff time if that's going to be consistently good enough to make a deep run into the playoffs. They need to get Patrick Chung back. They need to get Devin McCourty back. They need to get healthy in their secondary.
There's a holding call in the backfield as that pass is overthrown. That was as obvious a hold as we've seen all day.
Holding, offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's the right tackle, Todd Herremans.
And it's no fun being an offensive tackle or any position on the offensive line when the game's in this situation and the other team isn't playing the run at all. All they're doing is trying to get upfield and rush the passer. They have no run responsibilities to speak of.
So this is the 1st and 20 and 2:22 on the clock. And no communication there.
Well, again, the Eagle receivers.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty.
Jason Avant got himself a really good jump.
Well, we're going to take a look at some of the drop passes we had here today. That was DeSean Jackson. There was LeSean McCoy out there. Another one where Jackson couldn't pull it in. That one was a tough one coming back for it. That one at the very end, there was a question as to whether Sergio Brown got a hand on it or not. It was so close.
Young over the middle. This is Hall. Hall spinning away from 2 tacklers and down at the 49-yard line. And we'll see if the Eagles get a playoff here before the 2-minute warning. And they don't look like they're interested in doing that. So 2 minutes to play.
Well, I don't think Vince Young saw the clock.
2 minutes to play here in the second half. Tough day for Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles. Terrific day once again for the New England Patriots offense. Two minutes to play here in Philadelphia, and with one of the bigger crimes of this year's edition of the Philadelphia Eagles, they're working their way towards a 1-5 record here at home. And looking at their first losing season at home since the 07 season. Vince Young. Incomplete. Over the middle. Avant.
They're starting to hit it at the right time. We all know that December and January is when you want to start playing your best football, and as we move into December in a couple of days, the Patriots, at least offensively, they are getting it done effectively.
On 3rd and 9, Young over the middle, and that is complete for a first down to the 40-yard line to Avant.
I guess the question here in Philadelphia now with this game coming up in Seattle is, going to start on Michael Vick and whether or not he's going to be ready to play. I think you got to keep in mind that he didn't practice at all this week.
Andy Reid said he threw a little bit, but that was the extent of it.
I think he threw enough to find out that it really hurt. And so you got to wonder how much better is he going to be in only a couple of days.
Young throwing this way, incomplete.
So it's I can't imagine the level of frustration in the Eagles locker room. So Tom Brady, as we were talking earlier today, he ties the great Johnny Unitas for career regular season wins.
Number 6 all time.
I can't imagine being a quarterback and having my name linked with the great Johnny U.
Young over the middle, and that is complete to McCoy.
Rod Mayo there with a good tackle on McCoy.
And a timeout taken by the Eagles. I wonder why.
Well, you know, I played for a coach in Don Coryell. We never, ever walked off the field with a timeout left in the holster. It never.
A reminder still to come tonight here on CBS. Angelina Jolie featured on 60 Minutes, followed by a new Amazing Race, and then back-to-back episodes of Person of Interest. That's tonight only, CBS.
You know, Greg, I know that it's just a philosophical thing. The Eagles can't win this game, and you take a timeout. You wonder what's the purpose of it. Well, he's sending a message to his team that we don't quit. We don't ever not take advantage of every opportunity.
This is Vince Young's 46th attempt of the night. And that's complete to the 25-yard line to Avant.
I remember Bill Belichick telling us, he said, I know LaShawn McCoy can beat us running the football. I want to see if Vince Young can beat us throwing the football. And that is certainly, by getting out front and getting a lead, that is what the Patriots have forced the Eagles to do.
45 seconds to play. Young. And that's complete to the near side of the field and down the sideline and into the end zone. No, he's going to be marked down at the 1. Brent Selleck did not make it to the end zone before his knee touched down at the 1-yard line. And a timeout is called with 36 seconds to play.
We'll give these guys some credit. That is some effort by Brent Selleck trying to get it to the end zone. And let's see exactly where his knee touches. Boy, look at him fight. There it goes there. And that was a good spot by the official who was right there. That right knee is going to touch right there. And the ball is at the 1-yard line. That was, and look at the official in the background. Stationed perfectly to see it.
So the Eagles are out of timeouts. 36 seconds to play, and it'll be 1st and goal when play resumes.
That was Jerry Bergman who was in the right spot. You know, a quarterback, when he sees a football, he just wants to throw. That's what they do.
Young, rolling, throwing, touchdown, Avant. Avant's first touchdown reception of this season, and it comes with 32 seconds to play here in the 4th quarter. And there aren't many left here in Philadelphia to cheer.
No, but you know, you just don't stop working. You just don't stop working. And, you know, kudos to the Eagles for playing it till it's finished. You know, one guy on this Philadelphia offense, we haven't had a chance to talk about it much tonight, but Jason Peters, their left tackle, they're not 4-7 because of the way he's playing. He is a Pro Bowler. He is a great football player. As an old tackle, I love to watch a guy like that play.
2-time Pro Bowler out of Arkansas. And by the way, Vince Young, a career-high 400-yard passing day in a losing cause.
Well, I think Peters is looking for Pro Bowl number 5 this year. I think he's the real deal. I talked to Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach, about him. He said, look, he said, I only ever had one guy that I could say, and that was the great Walter Jones out in Seattle.
You know what I noticed over the weekend, Dan?
What?
Yesterday? When Michigan wins, everybody greets you with a bigger smile than usual.
Well, it's Tom Brady certainly did. He and I were having a good old time.
He
weren't
was
we?
downright jovial.
Well, it's been a long dry spell. We have been in the desert for a long time with Ohio State. Tom and I were talking about, man, our lives they're just a little bit better.
There have been days you two would cry on each other's shoulders.
It's been bleak. Of course, Jason Avant, who just got that touchdown pass, played for Michigan. So kind of fitting that at least he got a touchdown.
32 seconds on the clock. Onside kick doesn't work. Recovered at the 45 by Kevin Falk. There is the former Michigan Wolverine.
Of course, he
helped recruit Brady Hoke, didn't he?
Yeah, Brady, yes, he sure did, because Brady Hoke was an assistant on the national championship team that Tom played on back in the late 90s, and so he knew Hoke, and he really put in a good word for him. Of course, I said, our lives are all better because that Michigan. Could Tom's life get any better?
Boyer takes a knee. And that will put the Clamps on win number 8 of the season for the New England Patriots. 38-20 over the Philadelphia Eagles. The final score. Bill Belichick and company will go home with part of the best record in the AFC, along with Houston and Baltimore.
And this is going to be a great run in the AFC to see who gets the #1 seed.
There's your final score. New England 38, Philadelphia 20 for Dan Deerdorf and for all of our crew in Philadelphia. Greg Gumbel saying so long from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Send you off to New York, the NFL Today studios, and James Brown.
Sustained excellence on a